torchlight bounces off the darkened corridors within the walls of Jorix as the door seals shut behind you, leaving no trace that a door ever existed. When I say within the walls of Jorix, I don't just mean within the city's perimeters, but rather the very stone structures splitting the district, land, people, and in some cases, sea. Leaving the darkened alleys in the back of taverns to other such organizations, the Orenthal instead uses the walls of the city to act as a stationed river, a calm sea by which tides can move more controlled in and out and around the city of Jorix. For information can shift currents as quickly as a riptide, and someone must keep a wearied eye on the horizon, but also in the wake they leave behind. The torch in this moment moves a little closer, and Blackstone. You realize that it isn't a person holding the torch up, but rather it's actually hovering in the air slightly. A smaller figure steps into the light. And Blackstone, if you wouldn't mind, since it has been a bit, can you take a moment to describe Welton Pointstaff, your mentor? Oh, you were muted.
Oh, good, because you didn't want to hear the thing that I just said.
Oh.
I said I am going to have to go and find my notes real quick.
No worries.
Okay, so this person has a very commanding presence, very upright posture, and a calm gait. Normally wears simple linens for ease of movement when going places. Has a pair of horn-rimmed glasses, and looks for all practical purposes every bit of the scholar that they are.
Love it.
The staff that they have is a little bit unusual for their profession. The shape of the staff is a caduceus.
Oh, okay. Love that. Question to you as well. This meeting, as we're looking back in this flashback, is this the last time that you saw Pointstaff?
This meeting in the background. Would this be the last time I saw them?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, given where in time this is, no. No,
Okay.
it isn't.
Wonderful. He stands at this moment, arms kind of crossed with an air of amusement, save for a small upturn of his left eyebrow, which twitches slightly. You would know this to be the only sign, the know that the worry was beginning to etch into his otherwise calmed expression. He coughs slightly before turning and slowly beginning his walk down the darkened corridor, each footstep echoing through the halls, the torch following behind as he's walking. You're late. All you did is leave Starcrest to prattle on about... And you see him pause for a moment, kind of slightly looking back out of his peripheral. What was his new project? Do you remember? Because I don't.
Quite honestly, I'm uncertain.
And he kind of just... You see this wry kind of smile come on his face for a moment before an eye roll, and he begins walking forward again. Well, either way, I sent him to the museum to take some time, perhaps get some literature, the arts, history, so to speak. The hopes that maybe a simple walk can get him back on task. A lesson you already know, or so I thought. What lesson do you surmise are your wits as sharp as your blades today?
Well, I certainly hope so. They are a bit on edge at the moment. I was being followed through town today.
And you see him as he's walking. After a beat, he looks towards the right side of the kind of corridor that you're walking down. Almost like he's looking through it. We're giving another cough and moving forward. And as you can see, there's actually a set of stairs moving down in the chamber. Well, nothing like a simple walk to change your perspective. I'm aware. I'm afraid you've caught more than a few people's interests. Do you have any idea who that was, or who was tailing you before? Oh, they're still searching for you, by the way, but they're a few blocks back.
I take a moment to scan the area just because he keeps looking in certain directions, and I'm clocking that he does it every so often.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you roll an insight check?
That is a 20 on insight.
20. So you would know. I think this is like an odd, fun behavior that Pointstaff gets to do every so often when he's perhaps bored or listening to Starcrest kind of drone on. Is he tends to try and scry on individuals. So you can see as he's kind of moving, he's looking at the wall almost as like a baseline, a foundation. And then using what is likely his familiar, his lovely little puppy dog, to kind of keep an eye on the situation before kind of like going back. He's very relaxed. Now that you're in this space, very relaxed. No one can get inside the wall unless they're an Orenthal, for one. And he seems satisfied with the information that this individual, for whatever reason, is being held up. Isn't on guard. You don't see him going for his like staff to get ready for a fight. Nothing like that. He's very much at ease. Almost like he's literally taking a walk through the park.
Well, that's the thing. It wasn't one who, but a couple of them.
Mm. Did you by chance get a look at them?
I think I should ask you. I think I did,
You did. You got a couple
but
of
I
glimpses.
don't. But I don't know what they were wearing.
They were largely wearing just, honestly, they looked like rugged kind of mercenaries. They weren't wearing like stereotypical blackened robes covering their faces. It looked kind of like literally hired thugs or just random mercenaries kind of thrown in.
Okay.
Nobody with like a sigil, so they're not from like hired help for a noble house or anything like that.
Okay. So then I take the time to explain. Well, I did take a moment to look at them, and well, they don't seem to look like anyone from anywhere. Or I suppose, rather, they had no distinguishing features, no sigils or heraldry, no particular styles of clothing to indicate a particular region or continent from the world, or anything.
You kind of see he's pondering as he descends down the stairs. Well, I can reassure. Oh, go on.
I can tell you that of the people who did follow, however, I do not believe that any of the particular ones that were sent after me had a magical talent of any kind.
Correct.
Possibly for the best, for all things being considered.
And that does narrow the search a little bit. Unfortunately, sometimes the existence of something or someone not of the garden variety, and he kind of gestures almost lazily, leads even the weeds to fester. However, I fear that this group of individuals that they are likely serving have designs planned for you. Designs for which shall remain out of reach as long as we have a say of it. And at this point, he turns in the corridor to the left.
A design like what a different prosthetic item, perhaps.
And you kind of hear him cough for a second before laughing. Normally, I would say the expression is that just an expression, but I fear actually they may have designs for you that may be some kind of an augmentation. There's no one quite like you around here, Blackstone. For better. But that does make you a rarity. True.
Oh, at least that is something that you have said to me several times. I do have some concerns about that, I guess. There are many different kinds of people in Jorix, generally speaking, being a city with a well-known magical school and several ports of trade and things like that. So I suppose in that sense, I don't know what about me being different warrants this as opposed to, well, other people being different in the ways that they are.
Those are the questions that do leave scholars pondering at night, I will say. And after a moment, you hear this kind of clicking noise, as well as the sound of what sounds like cards shuffling in a deck. And you can practically feel the stones behind you moving. If you look backwards, you can actually see the stone passageway. It looks almost like snapshots are being taken as the door is slowly moving and making copies of itself, slowly turning almost like a stopwatch. And with each kind of new door that appears, a copy of a copy, it either darts left, right, up, diagonally. Till eventually the door, similar to how you came in, seals over. Kind of a Rubik's cubing, if for whatever reason, those that were following you before, much like the catacombs underneath the city, they will likely get lost within the walls. So, kind of as you're moving through. He kind of pauses for a moment, as you enter into this room, and he turns to you, and you see a mixture of emotions on his face of pride, but also you can see behind his eyes there is that sense of fear and a sadness that is in him as well.
You are worried.
We have need of you elsewhere. And as he says that, more torches light up this room as you now find yourself within the halls of the Orenthal, lightly decorated with panels of blue, sand, and green fabric, each tied with a thick fishing rope in between heavy-set knots that lead to just above a water basin, which is in the very middle of the room. Currently, at the very center, there is a black knot, a feather, and the rope is swaying slightly to the west. You can see several figures standing around the basin, including a small Kenku, Benji, who tips his hat ever so slightly upon your entrance. Mr. Blackstone, a pleasure to see you again. Did you manage to get the remainder of my finder's fee, by the way?
Oh, likewise to see you. A fee for finding things.
Yes. You had procured many such items, and as he is about to You see him looking slightly confused. And as he's about to go onwards, another throat kind of clears. Save it for later, Benji. As a human woman steps forward. She appears to be in her early 30s, with deep, rich brown kind of skin, black hair, slightly messy and windswept to one side that trails down her back over a rich red and gold captain's jacket. It's open in the front, revealing a white button-down shirt, as well as her waist, which is cinched into a kind of leather corset, which has also a tie to the corset itself, nautical attachments such as like a telescope, a compass, a wayfinder. She has black pants dipping into leather over the knee boots. Her eyes are the color of sunset, lingering on you for a moment before she adjusts her gloves, looking almost bored. We have matters to get to, and not a lot of time. You would know this to be the captain of the Orenthal, Lier Nonami. We're getting you out of Jorix for now. Poindstaff mentioned that you might have a point of contact in Illipin, am I correct?
You're also worried.
Well, I don't just get involved for nothing. When a member of our organization is under threat, well, not even a hurricane can stop that.
Why, thank you, Captain. But, well, what is the level of danger as they like look at the knot, and especially because I believe there's like a black piece of rope being used here?
Mm-hmm. Well, the introduction of a black rope means this is of the highest priority, at least for now. Essentially, from what our reports have been able to gather so far, it's the essentialness of getting some kind of hideout. A black spot, so to speak. So, we know you're capable. But since most of our means now are going towards, well, moving supplies in and out, there's been some stirrings in the dock district, as well as keeping an eye on what might be focused in on you, we thought it might be best to get you out of here for a bit, until things have perhaps cooled down. And you kind of see she is kind of sauntering and leaning up against the basin as she's kind of talking directly towards you. She thinks for a moment. It's oftentimes those that are so focused on the treasure ahead, they let their guard down. Mistakes to be made. And especially when that treasure can't be found, they're more prone to that. That's what we're hoping for at Wish, at least. So, current plan is to get you out. You take some time. We do have need of you elsewhere, it just so happens, with our river branches, but thought it might be best to do that and see what signs the sky and sea might have for you next. It's not a punishment.
I worry about what might happen while I'm away, I suppose, but if you were saying that this is for the best for all of us, then very well, I suppose.
Well, you kind of see she pauses for a moment. I might be captain of my ship, and I can definitely give recommendations in regards to the Orenthal. The decision is ultimately yours, whether you choose to stay or go. Just know, if you stay, You will be getting escorted everywhere you go. And she kind of looks, I think at this point she leans a little bit closer. I know you by now. That's not the life you'd want to live. That's no way to live in general. Is it?
I suppose not, but, well, I think you and Professor Pointstaff are also aware of the unique conditions that are tied to my life. So, summarily speaking, what will I do without you?
Well, you'll still be able to contact us. We have networks, and as mentioned, the Orenthal is in Illipin. Frankly, it's in any port-sized city. So you won't be alone. And Pointstaff mentioned, and at this point, Pointstaff does kind of cough and chimes in saying, I do have a colleague of mine, Deidre Worthington, who could have a great need of your services, as well as much to teach you, much that I can't. In regards to your origins, she might be able to point you in the right direction.
Deidre Worthington.
Think of it as a study abroad.
Do you have a message you would like for me to give her?
I've already corresponded with her. Nothing on my part.
So, when will I need to leave the city?
And at this point, Nanami kind of chimes in. Well, we want you to get your affairs in order, so would the end of the week work? 5 days? You'll be, as a heads up, you will be kind of tailed, but from afar, just to ensure that another incident like today doesn't happen.
Perhaps something that might render me invisible would be helpful.
We could definitely look into that. I'm sure we can procure some stocks. And she kind of looks at some of the other figures that are standing around the basin. The Trident, which are kind of the upper council of the Orenthal, who kind of nod. Seemingly they're kind of taking stock of what they have and what they might be able to smuggle. We can definitely work on getting that. Are you okay?
I suppose I am curious and concerned.
Frankly, I would think you a fool if not.
That's a logical conclusion to come to, I think. I suppose if they're, aside from that matter, a finder's fee?
And hear Benji chuckle in the background. You wouldn't have to pay us a finder's fee. She kind of rolls her eyes at Benji for a moment.
Well,
you at least in terms of the Orenthal, are all paid up. Your monetary discussions with Benji, however, that's something different.
I suppose there is the matter of finding you all when I do return to the city.
Well, you know how to contact us. And she kind of gestures to you, and I think in this moment you feel the very slight weight of that gold coin. Which you know can be used to contact, much like a sending stone, but it's inherently wired into the Orenthal.
Okay.
to do that, or Benji. He's got his safe houses all over. And I can guarantee that at least point staff will likely be somewhere in the erudite quarter. Where that is exactly, well, that just depends on how long you're away and how high point staff continues to go. As for me, I'll be out on the seas, most likely. So, you have options.
Understood. Well, I suppose um may the winds be fair and the hunter watch over you. And as for everyone else, hopefully I will see you all sooner than later. And the danger that we are dealing with is somewhat short-lived. Maybe I'll find a disguise of some kind.
I'm sure you and Benji can come up with some kind of story to accompany that. He has always been, and you kind of see she's got a smile. She's very amused by this whole thing. He's always been a bit eclectic with his stories. And you kind of hear Benji go, "Aw, boss, thank you so much. I appreciate your compliment, as always, my lady." And you just see her just like roll her eyes at this whole thing.
I think if there was like a point in a scene where things kind of fade to the present, it would be like at that moment because the next 5 days are a blur of very secret goodbyes out of concern that being public about them
Mm-hmm.
would put other people at risk. So the messages are like in secret and encrypted,
Sure.
thanks to our level up, written in illusory script.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll ask you this as you, over the course of the next 5 days, make your amends, tie up what loose ends you can. What is one thing that you regret not saying to point staff during that time that has carried with you up until this point? And I'm going to add the tagline on because I know Blackstone's also been exploring emotions. You may have not even realized it at the time that it was a regret, but you do now, looking back.
I don't think I would have one for that time.
Interesting.
I think the thing that's going to be concerning now is having to, because like mine, it's not Blackstone who's going to eventually find them. It is a person in Blackstone's body that's
Mm,
going to find them. And at some point, they're going to have to explain how that happened. And I regret to inform you, Blackstone is not available for a conversation at this moment for several reasons.
mm-hmm.
I think, if anything, there is also something to be said to Point Staff about, hey, also, unfortunately, it seems that there was a particular person that Blackstone managed to befriend, and they've since lost track of them. So I also have to regret to inform you, I don't know where that person is either.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And
Um, and I think like the last thing would be just one of those, it's a level of gratitude they're not able to communicate,
mm-hmm.
you know? I think would be the major one. It's one of those, it's not that I didn't It's not that I didn't do what I intended to do, but that it never feels like enough, all things considered.
Sure. I can understand that. Yeah. Wonderful. And we will fade out from this flashback. So, there's another flash of lightning as rain continues to pour down on all of you. A horse neighs, pawing at the freshly overturned dirt within the fallen Ascidian gate. The slow clap continuing as the crowd splits, revealing at the entrance 5 individuals on horseback. 4 looking like some kind of personal guard, while the one clapping slowly descends from their horse. Before you stands a goblin, looking to be in his mid-70s, his skin a pale green lined with wrinkles of his age. His hair, white hair pulled back slightly in a pompadour, kind of piled back. Eyes peering out from half-moon spectacles. A small white beard looks freshly trimmed. Currently, he is wearing black shoes, gray pants under some kind of black dinner coat, with a white collared shirt and a brown plaid vest. He steps forward after a moment, leaning on what after a moment appears a small cane. Well, I know I am truly inspired. And you see Tyneal, who's kind of still been standing on the mound of like rocks in the Ascidian gate. I would say, Diodora, you catch this ever so slightly just because you are so not attuned, but you're just very aware of how Tyneal moves and stands in these situations. And it's very slight, but you see his back straighten up. And that tiredness that had been starting to settle in, he almost like blinks it away. Just the mask is firmly in place of Commander Tyneal in this situation. Lord Callahan, you do me an honor. Tyneal at this moment bowing his head slightly, his eyes never leaving Verero Callahan, who has made his presence known. You can hear at this moment small murmurings in the crowd. Verero.
Is he the only one bowing?
Tyneal, yes. Everyone else is kind of, I think, confused as to what's going on. And then after a moment, you do see kind of like the inclination of head and giving that sign of respect.
Diodora, pointedly does not do anything like showing any type of respect.
I love it. Okay. After a moment, Verero speaks up again. The honor is mine. I am gladdened that you are safe. It was a troubling report from Lady Farnley about fighting outside the Temple District, and you being spotted being involved. And then, of course, the beast that did this. And Tyneal, after a moment, kind of adjusting slightly. Yes, it was an unfortunate incident. Luckily, I had company with me. But one that has been largely contained. We will be rebuilding and contained, Verero cuts in. Looking around at the twisted metal still piercing the sky from where the top portion of this Ascidian gate had been ripped and thrown, the piles of fallen rocks, before slowly sweeping his eyes over the group of Crown's Guard, some injured, others standing watch over the slain, before looking back at Tyneal for a moment. Contained indeed. Would hate to see what you would consider out of control, Commander.
That's bold talk for somebody who shows up well after the fact, who did nothing to help.
Eyes over into your direction. And interesting that a nobody would presume to have such a conversation. Let the adults speak.
I might be a nobody, But I was here, fighting while you were up there in your lofty tower, fat and happy, doing nothing. I'm more recognizable than you are at this moment.
Isn't it a bit presumptuous to think about what I might be doing?
Isn't it presumptuous to think about what Tiny L would consider in control and out of control? You weren't even here.
Or
Next time you want to... Go ahead.
Or rendering judgment without an accurate assessment of the situation,
Yeah.
which I would assume someone in command would be the first to make.
Yeah. I mean, next time you want to come down and talk shit, maybe make sure you're actually here on the battlefield first.
Language.
You're not my mother.
Thank God for that.
Thank God indeed, actually. That's where you and I can agree.
Hey, see, he's got like this slightly amused look on his face as this conversation is going on. I look forward to your report, Commander, including an update on all of those missing people. Life, I know, has been heavy. It's weighed in moves and countermoves, and as of now, the Council is very curious to know what designs you may be weaving. He pauses, looking at the rest of the Crown's Guard for a moment. We all, of course, thank you for your hard work, and you will be compensated, of course. He turns, heading back towards his horse. Do get some rest, Commander. You're looking a little pale. After so many years of service, one does worry if it may be time to retire, or if this is all too much for you.
I had the same exact thought.
Well, aren't you an interesting one? And you see at this moment, Tyneal kind of is watching almost like a tennis match happen between you all and them for speaking up. It's appreciated, indeed, but I still have life in me and much more to give to our people. Reports will be filed and our city and its people cared for. Barrero, after a moment. Good. I'll especially look forward into your formal investigation into these three, his eyes lingering on you, Deodora, Blackstone, and Astani. As Lady Farnley's report, had an interesting bit of information advising that the disturbance originated with them, putting our city in danger.
Maybe Lady Farnley, was it?
Yes.
Should get off her ass and come investigate her fucking self.
She has her birds all through the city.
Yeah. She has birds. And yet, like you, she does no work.
Can you make a wisdom savings throw?
Jordan, let me talk shit.
Sure,
Wisdom
you can.
saving
But here's the
throw,
consequences for that. I'm gonna just say.
Okay. I'm trying to find my dice. 16.
Okay. You feel... It feels like for a second like liquid ice being poured into your veins. And Deodora, you find yourself unable to move. Unable to talk. Almost like a doll that has just been set aside.
What a bitch
DM?
move. What a fucking cowardly cunty move by him. He is
DM?
such a fucking coward. I'm gonna kill him.
Sure. Yes, Sim.
DM?
Yes.
Given our reset level up and everything, I would like to make hold on for a moment. Oh yeah, I would like to make an edit if I can.
Sure.
Okay. I would also like to be sneaky about it, if I can be sneaky about it.
Okay. Why don't you roll to stealth and I'll roll perception.
Can I roll a sleight of hand?
What are you trying to do? That might help me a little bit better.
Just, having one of those moments, like Deodora, I don't know what you rolled on the die. I would like to change what you rolled on the die.
Okay.
I got a 13 on the die. My wisdom is +3.
Okay. So if I wanted to use a portent, I don't know if portent has obvious signs of being used. So I would like to use it without being obvious about it.
Okay. So then, we will say that that's going to be, we'll say it's stealth. It's not going to be a sleight of hand
Okay.
for that specific reason.
Okay. Stealth?
Yes.
That is a 28.
Okay. His eyes lock on you, Blackstone,
Mm-hmm.
but he seems intrigued enough to allow whatever it is you're going to do. He'll allow it to happen.
He can't stop a portent roll.
Correct. But he's very,
Oh,
it's
I was
more
just
so
trying
this is him being very aware. That was the stealth check to see if he could do it sneakily. He's clocked that this is happening kind of thing.
Just while holding this illusory cup of tea, I just make a really loud sip at the time that you have to make that savings throw. So that die roll is now an 18.
Okay.
You still feel yourself lock up.
I'm gonna use. Oh no, I don't. I can't use that. I think I already used it today.
You know what you haven't used?
Yeah, I already used Indomitable. I haven't used a.
You haven't used an inspo die.
Yeah,
you
you
can
haven't
roll
used
that.
an
You can
inspo.
you can roll that beautiful bean footage.
That's a 9 on the die. On the inspo die.
You feel your muscles lock up for a minute. And then what images come to mind that allowed you to push forward through that?
I think it's less images in my mind and more so just like this growing sense of unease and rage and just like being so fucking done with people like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Who
just
have-
the pure
who-
spite of it all.
It's spite, but just like spite, but like an anger about like everything that's going on, everything that I've experienced in Jork so far, remembering, and I guess in my head I will remember like just being in Aries' home, looking out the window and seeing that fucking castle looming over them. And knowing that this motherfucker came from there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think I said, and I feel him doing this spell on me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You feel it
I
directly
think-
from him.
I growl like a fucking angry wolf, just like it's very animalistic. And I say, only a coward and a tyrant would try to silence somebody who doesn't agree with them. Walk the fuck away. Go back to your fucking tower. And I like to make an intimidation check.
Sure. Go for it.
And I have and I can use my superiority die, and I'm gonna have Sparky behind me growling. He's
I
a
figured
fucking
as much.
giant ass goddamn main like blinked dog that looks like a Maine wolf. Like and I'm gonna add another inspiration die just to be a fucking cunty ass bitch about it. 27.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's 27 on the die. Plus 6. 33. So I forgot to add my number.
I was gonna say, okay. All right.
33.
I'll say for the vast majority of the group, but they don't notice really a difference. I will say the three of you notice for a second it looks like his hands shaking slightly on the reins as he gets back on the horse. Very slightly, but
enough for me to notice,
Yeah.
and I fucking smirk a little at it.
Yeah.
Knowing that I've rattled him.
Now, I think we go back to the report that we want to hear about. And the next steps that we should take And this is a full new experience for Asani, but not unsimilar, because they've had to sit in front of people with assumed authority and give them respect already with anyone from the temple district, like without earned respect. But there's this standing that Osani always had of like, because they have worked their way to that top of the temple district to be a watcher or keeper, they've earned it in some way. So they're just grinding their jaw before looking at them. It's best, that you stand closer to the edge of the decision making. We wouldn't want you to ruin anything further of your pallor and demeanor. As you said, your rest comes first. And Tyneal, please continue with what we need to do next.
And I think, if I can add on to that flavor, I think as Astani says that, like, the three of us at least, I can't speak to like everybody else around us, we fully turn our backs to this motherfucker and look directly at Tyneal, waiting for orders, because this is the only out of the people who are in like with authority here, this is the one that's respected, and this guy is not.
This is a person that at the moment, assuming that I'm still under the effects of a certain very interesting chewing gum, I take a moment to clock that person and their entourage as enemies to my friends.
Target acquired, yeah.
Which makes them enemies to me for reasons.
Yeah. You can very easily do that. You hear Ferrero kind of behind you, shuffling with the reins a little bit. Again, more pawing at the ground. Before Tyneal kind of almost winces for a second and then kind of rubs his forehead. Rory, you would take that as he's seemingly getting, much like you use telecommunications, he's getting telecommunications as well.
I think everybody can. I think for the two party members there, they can see my eyes narrow.
I want Rory to hack into that communication so bad. Just like, hey, by the way, if you have some shit to say, say it.
Well, actually,
It's the antivirus protection kicking in.
Yeah, fucking
wait, actually,
firewall.
you know
VPN.
what? You know something? If we want to, we could absolutely do that. Here's the question that I would need to ask for you.
Sure.
How far is Tyneal away from us right now?
Not far. I would say probably within 10 feet.
Oh, within 10 feet? Fantastic.
Ferrero's further back. He's about 30 feet back.
Don't know my kid by him.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have to
I didn't
worry.
know what he...
I'm joking.
My back's to him. I don't see him anymore.
This man does not exist.
I'm gonna like the next time I see him, it's gonna be with his head on my sword, like a fucking like a banner, like I'm going to WWE and I got a fucking poster on it.
Oh, fantastic! The energy of the barrier dissipates.
Interesting. Okay.
And just Blackstone has sports a small ethereal indigo halo
Cute.
above their head.
Okay.
They are very angelic.
I love
yes,
it.
I agree.
While they get for the and just tunes into the radio. And what Blackstone attempts to glean is, at the moment, the surface level thoughts and immediate reactions of Tyneal.
Okay.
Which he doesn't have to make a save to do. It's one of those, he only has to make a save if I go digging into things.
Sure.
But this is one of those tuning into Tyneal out of all the background noise of the thoughts in the area.
Sure. Well, what's great about that is the kind of surface level thoughts are also him processing what Ferrero is saying. So you will get to hear that in full transparency. As you do hear, as that connection is made, Ferrero's voice within Tyneel's headspace. One would hate to think you're growing soft in your old age, especially when answers seem to be in front of you. And Tyneel, who the rest of you kind of see him stumbling slightly, just, again, it's been one, a very long day. He's done a lot, and two, just, you can feel it through the connection, even though, again, it's kind of base thoughts. Each word is like not even a punch. This thing has thorns with each word that he is saying into Tyneel, who's holding his own.
Mm-hmm. Is Blackstone sharing this with us?
Not yet.
Okay.
So, basically, I'm going to wait for the end of this descriptor. So please continue.
Sure. And you see at this moment, then Tyneel stumbling a little bit from the rocks to actually move to stand behind the three of you, in between you and Ferrero. And he says back in his mind, I have faith in my people. Can you say the same for yourself?
Go off, King.
And at that, in the back of the chamber, you hear Ferrero chuckling softly before, again, horses pawing and turning back towards the street. I'll expect to see the report on my desk at first light, Commander. Do get some rest. And the envoy
the
leaves.
lady does love a steward who preserves their life so diligently well. Others fall, don't they?
I take a moment in between that because, thoughts are like basically instant things. And there is the first emotion that arrives to each of you, like seconds apart, is a sense of warmth, a certain sense of pride about this, and then you hear the replay of that conversation.
Under my breath, I just say, fucking coward. And I think I want Sparky to slip into the shadows and follow them for a bit and just listen in on what if there's any discussion.
Okay.
Or if dude is just murmuring under his fucking breath,
Sure. Why don't you roll stealth for Sparky for that?
Can he have advantage since he's in the shadows?
Yeah.
Okay. He got a dirty 20.
Okay.
All right. Dude got good stealth.
So Sparky disperses into the shadows as that happens. I'll say probably Deodora at this moment you see visible sweat on Tyneel's forehead, and it's ever so slight, but you can see that his legs are shaking slightly, not because of fear, just pure exhaustion. It is literally just, he had to go all out earlier today, almost went down, and now is very much that cost of, for those of us who do wear masks when we're in situations like this, it's that exhaustion just kind of settling in, but still not able to rest because eyes are on him.
I want to give him some support in a way that won't make people question his weakness or whatever.
Sure.
Even though that's bullshit and Deodora will rip out anybody's throat who says anything about it. But just be as people are standing around milling around after the Wick of Fear, it's our work isn't over. Get back to it.
Can you roll an insight check? And I'll say you have advantage because you've been of the Crown's Guard. You're very aware.
Yeah. Just gonna see if I crit. I don't. But that's you said insights. 25.
The vast majority are, as soon as you say that, yep, let's go. You can see with a few members, there's doubt. Specifically, and I don't say necessarily hear the question so much as see the question form on their face. of what Verrero had mentioned about the three of you and this beastie basically originating from that. They go about their work, but you can tell that a couple more of the members are slightly delayed in that decision making, and Steele glances back at the three of you every so often.
I clock I think I'm just gonna take note of like their faces and whatnot.
Sure.
But it's just like, how are you doubting me right now when I'm covered in this thing's fucking blood? I literally gutted it and everything rained down on me. Like, you're like, if you're gonna be so weak-willed, I have nothing else to say to you. But also, I'm thinking maybe you're a spy now. So
Bear said, and an op. That one.
yeah, like, excuse me.
Jordan, I would like to roll an insight to see if I can connect that person that just left.
Yes.
To the vision that I had with the chess pieces.
I thought we
Yeah,
established.
it was
that this person is part of this.
That's the one of the
goblin.
The members. That's the goblin guy
Yeah,
who's like
that's-
part of the security.
He's head of the military, so he's higher up than Tyneal.
Yeah.
So he handles military and war, matters of war.
And doesn't
Sorry,
he
so-
also? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sin.
Oh, it wasn't. I forgot. It wasn't chess pieces. It was candles. But very specifically, right? We were trying to weed out who the more problematic or dangerous people were.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to, and I want to see if I can put together what I saw with this person just now and their actions and stuff, because a question has come screaming to the forefront of Rory's mind about this between that interaction and things that Deodora just said.
I'm going to say, truthfully, I don't think you need to roll insight. I think that's something that's, like, since you're already doing that and Rory's already doing that, I think that's just something you do. I think it would make more sense if you were inciting, like, specifically Verrero and, like, intent.
No, like, it's,
but, like,
no, like, that, and that's exactly what this insight is for.
Gotcha.
It's for Ferrero. Like, as far as I know, he's the lead person who just left.
Correct.
So I'm like, you're not that person from the vision, are you? Because, oh no, like, I think that would go from, oh, this person is annoying, to being like, oh no, Deodora, actually, we might have to,
well, that's what I'm
to
saying,
that.
because it's already been connected that he was in the vision. That's where I'm a little bit lost.
I guess not that whether or not he was in the vision, but whether or not he's in the vision, is he in the vision decent person, or is he in the vision that's a problematic person?
Yeah.
Because
I thought there were
Yeah.
different, if I recall correctly, because I'm not digging on my notes right now. There were some, like, we got visions of these people, but it was a little unclear about, like, their allegiances in some ways, like if they were part of the plot or not. And I think that's what Sin is asking about.
Gotcha. Okay. The three that were named were the Queen, tied to obviously the King. Brandon Cunningham, who was a squire, who became the King's favorite, then rose up in the ranks, is like a best friend. And then Verrero, who is the King's cousin, but has been in the position for a while. Verrero is technically next in line, even though the line of succession is not established.
Okay. Then that answers that question. So,
I know there's a lot. It's been a minute, and there was a lot of lore in between now and a few sessions ago.
there was, but it was one of those. How do I say this? Sometimes, well, you know something. We'll talk about that on break.
You can say it's fine.
No, it's like one of those. Sometimes there's like a connection that I'm making, but I'm not sure if my
Gotcha.
character can make it. So I'm just like, let me go ahead and pre-roll this just so I can do it. But
I'm always in favor of, if you think, like, if it's even a possibility of a figment of it popping into your character's mind, you explore that, right? I don't think, I think it's more so like if you were in deep denial, then I would say roll an insight check on, like, yourself, for instance.
Yeah.
But, like, if you have an inkling of it, go for it. I'm not going to make you roll for, okay, this is how you feel. Like, no.
Yeah.
You know.
I think Rory's thinking about things all the time in different variations of things. So it would make sense for him to immediately connect things together.
They'll
in my
already
brain.
constantly be plotting that
Yeah.
in their mental like labyrinth already. So yeah.
Yeah.
Theodora,
Hmm.
that man is a danger.
Oh, I know.
Possibly more of a danger than we realize. If my logic is correct, if I search my feelings, I believe it is very possible that that man may have failed at assassinating your friend.
That would make sense. He seemed... I don't even know how to describe it, but, you know, if it comes down to us having to take him out, don't threaten me with a good time.
All things being considered, I just might have to settle for promising you one.
Even better. I think
What's Tyneel's formal title?
He is Commander Tyneal. He is head of the Crown's Guard, as well as essentially like the Duke of Allegris, which is where a lot of the Crown's Guard. It's like the equivalent of like the Naval Academy for the United States. It's where a lot of the Crown's Guard get their training
It's
before
fucking...
moving onwards.
I was going to make a really specific joke that only I think people in Colorado would understand, so never mind.
I love
Never
you.
mind.
I love you so much.
It's okay for those of you who are watching and are in Colorado. It's basically Colorado Springs, and you get it, and you fucking get it.
Having been there, yeah.
It's fucking all military there.
Yep. Not wrong, but luckily Tyneal's pretty relaxed.
But
It's-
less shitty.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's honestly it's a lot better than Jorik's. I'm gonna be honest, but it's fine. I didn't say that. It's fine.
Theodore said it.
Sure.
So, Commander,
You can see he's got his like head in his hands, kind of rubbing his forehead. It's just like the day is not over. And for a second, just a flicker of exhaustion popping on his face before hearing his name. And yes.
both as practice and for my own personal enjoyment, I do have some expertise in mending things. If I can be of service to you in that way.
We'll definitely take you up on that offer. And he kind of just looks around. You see his eyes lingering more so on the like a row of fallen that have kind of been set up to for like the temple to eventually come and take them to their respective temples to, you know, move on elsewhere. And you can just see him like doing mental like work of like, okay, I'm also going to need to notify families and go through all of that process. I need to file that. Like, you can, I think, almost hear him muttering under his breath as he's just like kind of immediately shifted back into work mode.
Yeah. What is the name of his assistant again?
Hyacinth.
Let Hyacinth at least help you.
Kind
You
of
do
just-
not have to do everything by yourself.
And you kind of see she pokes her head out after a minute.
She's like, "Hi, I'm
Yeah,
here."
literally.
Hello.
Just probably taking notes of the meeting.
She
and
literally
that.
has
yeah,
been.
no, I was about to make the same joke. She's been taking minutes.
I was gonna say
like,
she
meeting
does
minutes.
pop up and she has a little clipboard and quill like that she's been kind of every now and then Tyneal saying something has been like jotting it down of like a thing that she can do and take that off her plate, like his plate and stuff like that. So she kind of gives a little wink in your direction as that happens.
If there's anything that she hasn't clocked, I'm going to use to detect thoughts while it's up to capture all of the thoughts that he has going by of the things that he needs to do, people that he needs to notify and stuff like that. And then communicate that to Hyacinth and go, if I can, why don't I help you sort some of that out?
The surface level thoughts as you get them through this a telepathic telephone that's happening right now, notifying the families. He also wants to, he will be paying for any funeral arrangements out of his pocket. Has that set aside, as well as offering compensation to the families of the fallen. He wants to also double check on everyone who's been injured, ensuring that they also get support as well. Again, compensating out of his pocket, just because he seems very aware that a lot of these Crownsguard are coming from very not well-to-do families and may need that extra help. So you kind of also get math figures in his head of like what he's kind of mentally estimating of like what the costs are going to be for a lot of these things, as well as checking in on Aerie, seeing if any Crownsguard need to go there next, just with the kind of underlying threat that was made, essentially. And him just wanting to double check all his T's crossed and all of his I's are dotted. Corresponding with, and then it kind of blurs out for a second, and then it changes to just corresponding, as he seems to like mentally correct himself. You also get surveying where the Ascidian Gate tower was thrown, compensating those families that were likely put out as the tower was thrown onto several homes, as well, and then rebuilding, and then
Jesus
writing
Christ.
the report for Ferreira.
I feel like, is Rory also sharing this stuff with us as like it's coming through? No. I think, okay, but I think just knowing him, I like turned to Hyacinth and like kind of like under my breath was like, make sure he doesn't overwork himself. I know it's hard, but like I can see on his face that he's about to do literally everything by himself, and a lot of this stuff should be delegated.
She kind of nods. She's been, as you can see, you don't even necessarily have to read. From the list, she has branches going off, likely of who she's going to probably delegate it to, or her doing it herself.
I think I'll also say to her, and again, like out of Tiny's earshot, some of the soldiers are showing signs of doubt.
I've picked up on that. I've taken their names down. We'll keep an eye on them.
Thank you.
Don't worry. We'll keep our commander safe.
Thank you.
You also need to be careful.
I will. My friends got my back.
You better. Would be a shame to put you on a report.
God, honestly, don't put me on a report, especially if it's not going to that fuckhead. And I like point in the direction Ferreira went. And like, don't like just leave me anonymous. Honestly, if you have to put me in a report,
I'll come up with a different name. That way, he doesn't come back on to our commander.
Yeah.
Don't worry. You better get out of here, though. You also need to get some rest.
Yes, and